Welcome back, all you hom-homs, to another episode of Video Game World Tours, a series where we slow down and soak in a game's environment. Today's tour takes us to the unorthodox world of Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm a sucker for opening areas in games. I love a good, simple room that doesn't immediately try to wow you. Humble beginnings, you know? I showed off something like this in my Sonic Frontiers tour, and Breath of the Wild had one as well. Today, I'm gonna give this part of a game's world a name, because I'll be bringing these up in pretty much any game I cover that has one. This is the intro funnel. Trademark. The intro funnel is defined by the small-scale room you're put into almost immediately after a short opening sequence. There might be a tiny playable section or a couple of cutscenes beforehand, but right here is where the true game begins. Everything's compact and intimate in rooms like this. Unfortunately, you can't stay forever. You gotta leave at some point. So you do. A lot of the times, the only way out is through a narrow corridor. It's usually not too long, but it'll often be long enough to build tension. Maybe you even get a glimpse of what's to come, but the full scope of the world is almost always hidden. That is, until you reach the end of the funnel, the scale reveal. Trademark. The best part about the scale reveal is the contrast between the tiny passage behind you and the immediate expanse in front of you. Bethesda games are amazing at this. It's a great tool in the level designer's pocket, and it always gets me hyped to come across one when starting a new game. They nailed the scale reveal here. And what a scale to reveal, right? This game world is massive. Immediately, when I was thrown into this game and reached this point, this game's world felt different from most RPGs. You don't really see worlds like this too often. There's usually a lot of clutter or variation in the terrain to make everything not seem so flat. But it's like they didn't care about that with this game. There is some variation in the landscape, admittedly. Different levels to mountainsides, as well as the occasional rock here and there, but not nearly as much as other games. So much of this game is just flat. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for that feeling, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, let's visit Shulk's home, Colony 9. It's a cute little settlement they got here. Seems like a lot of people. Wonder if there's enough homes for everyone. There's an interesting spot behind the gem crafting guy. Through this building, there's a balcony, and on this side, there's no railing. It's like the level designer is begging you to jump to the other ledge. And you can, it's not like it's a challenge or anything. But why would the architects of Colony 9 build it like this? Why wouldn't they make steps? And what's the point of this area anyway? The first few times I came by here, I was like, how do NPCs even reach this spot? It's not like they'd make this jump to get here, and then drop from this height to get back to town. But then I noticed, there's some doors right there. At 2100 hours sharp, King Squeeze exits this door and hangs out for a while. Don't think I've seen an NPC use one of these doors. I didn't even consider that an option for them. Though I guess they gotta go somewhere at the end of their daily routine. Another interesting area in Colony 9 is the military district. This is where we get a sizable chunk of flatness in the Hom's living space. I guess this is warranted considering we're in a military fortress, need lots of space to move heavy machinery around. Well, I say that, but they aren't really doing much with this space. The majority of the clutter here are these tiny boxes. With some efficient stacking, you could have 99% of this fortress cleaned up. I guess that would make the flatness of this area even more apparent, so I can see why a level designer wouldn't want to do that. Oh wow, look up there! So many windows in such a large building. There's kind of a pattern to where windows are placed, but the pattern is random, like a controlled chaos. Does that make sense? Just imagining the interior layout is giving me a headache, so I guess we'll move on to the next map. Actually, before we do, I want to address something first. This is not the original version of the game. This is a remaster of the original Wii game that updated the visuals to be more in line with the sequels. This is what the game originally looked like. It's still kinda shocking to me, even though I knew it used to look like this. It's just such a jarring change that, honestly, I don't know how I feel about. This is grounded and gritty, while this is colorful and beautiful. That's not to say this isn't beautiful, but I feel like the remaster is easier to appreciate. This is more of an acquired taste. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy XII. It perfectly mixes fantasy with realism to create a super memorable style. I can appreciate it for that. But I can also appreciate this. The colors are so much more saturated. They really pop. Honestly, I don't really have a preference. I'm sure some of you out there feel more strongly about it, but at the end of the day, I decided to play the Switch version for all the quality of life features they added. Plus, I thought it'd be nice to have some visual unity across the later games, which I'd love to cover if you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see those in the future. So yeah, while I will be using the definitive edition for the rest of the video, I just want to take a moment to shout out the original art style. After all, this is the game that people fell in love with back on the Wii. The area after Colony 9 is a short little dungeon. Man, this game really does deal in extremes. The open zones are so wide, and dungeons feel cramped. I don't have much to say about this location. This room is pretty though. What I want to focus on is the area right after this. You leave the cave and are back on the surface again. You wind yourself through a narrow passageway. The tension builds and bam! Another scale reveal. Welcome to the leg of the Bionis. It's crazy that the level designers pulled the same trick twice, and it worked twice. I guess they knew what they had. This is beautiful. The gentle landscape and aggressive mountains in the distance. This is Xenoblade to me. The Gaur plains here are just so memorable. You don't see open areas like this in single-player games. Usually, you only see areas this flat in MMOs. The terrain kind of reminds me of something you'd find in World of Warcraft. The MMO comparison is made even more apparent with the addition of an auto-run feature in the definitive edition, a staple to MMOs. Environments designed like this aren't afraid to have you walk for a bit with nothing to do. And if you're auto-running to your quest objective, all you really can do is look around at the environment. Truly soak it all in, because this is a spectacle. Considering how plain this main valley is, it's not hard to traverse while progressing through the story. But if you want to do some side quests and explore, there's a ton you'll find. Like this stone path. Kinda caught my eye the first time around because there aren't a whole lot of man-made pathways in this region. It leads you to Daksha Shrine. Kind of a pretty view. Oh, I remember. I had a quest thing to pick up over here. But I remember there being something super dangerous in these parts. I don't see it. I must be remembering something. Oh my god, another quest led me towards the north. I thought I'd just waltz right in to grab what I needed and get out. But there are insanely powerful monsters in here, and they attack if you make too much sound. I didn't expect to be thrown into a stealth section, but hey, at least it's unique. It's kinda scary in here. Deep within enemy territory, surrounded by these bug egg sacs, knowing that if I walk the tiniest bit too fast, I'll bring death upon me and the party. It's a good thing my Joy-Con joysticks are so reliable. The last spot for this section is Believer's Paradise. It's on the far northern side of the map, and it's at the highest point as well. You get a beautiful view of everything from here. There's the two mountains I pointed out at the beginning as we came into the region. Look at how far away they are to the south now. And all the way down there, that tiny handful of pixels, that's where we started. That doesn't even look like a place you could go. In any other game, this would be a plain skybox. But in Xenoblade, these worlds are just big. And there's no vehicles to traverse the world any faster. When you enter a region for the first time, you're going to be doing a lot of walking on foot. And it'll take you a while to reach from one side to the other. That's the Xenoblade experience. After this section is another little dungeon, the Ether Mine, which means more cramped tunnels. My favorite cramped spot in this dungeon is the mining base. I remember coming by here during the story, and being surprised that there was a little passage behind this rock. From a distance, you'd never guess it was there. It looks completely blocked off. There's nothing special to it, really. You get a little story beat in this room, as well as a heart-to-heart with Charla, but that's it. I like it though, it's cozy. The next big area you get to explore is the Satorl Marsh. I hate to say it, but I'm not a huge fan of this place. Not really a fan of swamps in general. It's overall just hazy and kind of boring aesthetically. I'm sure some of you swamp heads out there will disagree with me. Type your complaint letter in the comments below. At nighttime it does get a bit prettier. Ether starts to glow around the trees, almost like leaves. The whole environment becomes enveloped in this bluish glow, so it's not a dark and dreary place all the time. And of course, we got the weird little spots. In the south is a location designated as the Shining Pond. It's a tiny little cave poked into the side of this big cave. I can't remember if there was a quest item here, or there might be a future quest item that spawns in here. Either way, this spot feels important. I feel like in any other RPG where you don't automatically heal after every battle, this would heal you up and refresh the party. Over here is the Zaldania waterfall. It just... I don't know. Can I even call this a spot? Is there anything interesting about it? Anything I could say to warrant its inclusion in a video like this? Up this winding path and past some dangerous creatures lives a tiny little Nopon, Zazadan. This is apparently his home. Some nondescript crates, a single descript crate, a bed spot, and of course, orbs. Glowing, ominous orbs. At first I thought these were physical, tangible orbs, but upon closer inspection they look more like ether orbs. I don't know if that makes it more or less sinister. Just what is Zazadan up to? I realized that I wasn't actually finished with his questline while I'm writing this, so I might as well finish it up. Gotta kill this monster. This is like the third quest I've done for this guy. He really does ask a lot of you. Alright, report back to him. Now I gotta go get him a potion. Got that. Man, I really just hate the walk back up to him. He feels better. Great. Now I'm finally done with him. Ugh, okay, this has gotta be the last one. Oh, a red pollen orb. I guess that's what he's got going on. He gives me one to dip in. No way. I didn't plan this, I promise you. I wrote that Shining Pond section before I wrote this part. Though I guess I was technically off. A quest item doesn't spawn in. You have to bring the item here and place it in the pond. Dipping the orb gives you Highmore Caviar. The final quest from Zazadan sees you bringing the caviar to a location that we'll definitely talk about later. Once you arrive, the guy's in a hurry to get it. This all seems kinda shady, right? But that's all there is from Zazadan. No more quests. So I went to the wiki to see if I missed anything, and apparently, it's an illegal item, not only in this game, but in multiple Xenoblade games. Actually, there's a whole other quest line dedicated to finding out who's behind the underground Highmore Caviar market. It's weird, I usually don't cover quests in these videos, but the little journey you saw me go through while writing this made the spots that much more meaningful. I wrote down both the Nopon spot here and the Shining Pond separately as spots to cover for this video. and they just happen to be connected story-wise. That's another reason why this world is so awesome. You can independently discover a location outside of its relevance to a quest, and they're usually interesting by themselves, divorced from that context. I guess the Satorl Marsh isn't too bad. Before the next big area is, you guessed it, another small dungeon. Though even calling it a small dungeon is a stretch. You only spend like 4 minutes in here. The Lung of the Bionis is basically just a passageway to the next region, and I can just tell that I'm coming back here later in the story. Outside of the map nodes over here that make that obvious, this is too cool and aesthetic to use for such a tiny section. Can't wait to see the rest of it later. And now we're in Machna Forest. Oh man, this game really does love its scale reveals. Compared to a lot of the other regions, they really did their best not to make it seem as flat at ground level. There's a lot of trees and general foliage to block sightlines, so you can't see super far once you're in the main jungle here. But before you do reach that jungle, you gotta cross this insanely long bridge. Like, comically long. I can't think of a bridge of this style that's this long in any piece of media. Monolith Soft really outdid themselves. This isn't why we're in this stage though. We're here for the area below us. An absolutely massive river and lake lies below you. I want to go down there, but I don't want to walk all the way down that cliffside. I'll just take a shortcut. So, how's your day been? Oof, that's gotta hurt. This is, big. Let's just start swimming. Oh man, and the water is flowing against you, so you swim even slower. There's one unassuming island in this lake. I'm assuming there's something quest-related here at some point, but outside of this and some beaches along the rock walls, there's nothing. Look at this map I pulled from the wiki. There's the island we're standing on now, there's the closest landmark, and here's all this empty water. So much nothingness. I can appreciate that. And because I am truly built different, I will swim to the southern edge of this lake. Not to complete a quest, not to find any super memorable spot, just for the love of exploring. There we are. Beautiful. This is a pretzel-sanctioned weird spot. Oh, remember that landmark I pointed out on the Machna Forest map? That's the Divine Sanctuary, and this spot is truly stunning. You get a perfect view of not only the lake below you, but the waterfalls in the distance, and the waterfalls that feed into those waterfalls. One can only imagine what those distant landscapes look like up close. And how about this weird pointy ledge? It's like a natural diving board, begging you to jump into the waters below. I'd never do that personally. I don't really think it's... Oh, you're okay. Well, if they survived, I guess I would too. Geronimo! Ooh, that's really gotta hurt. You'll sleep it off though, don't worry, Shulk. Heading back to the forest, I was kinda surprised to see some tree platforms and bridges. Kind of feels Ewok-y. Though does George Lucas lay claim to all platforms and bridges built amongst trees? Probably not. I guess the fact that these were built by silly little forest dwellers doesn't help that case though. There is more to these Nopon than simple tree platforms though. Nearby is Frontier Village, an immense settlement located inside an immenser tree. Yeah, the Ewok vibes are off the charts. This place is super cute. Look at all these little huts for the Nopon to live in. These are basically one-room apartments for the little guys. Some of them even have little extensions on top. Guess that's the premium model. Hey, I don't mean to be that guy, but is it smart to have lit torches in a tree like this? They probably know what they're doing. The village is built alongside the walls of the tree, and stairs zigzag around it, taking you to all the different levels. Oh, look at this one. This must be the super deluxe version. Or maybe it's two separate homes and they share an attic. Hey, this is where we found the sketchy caviar guy from the Zazadan questline. Guess this whole level is dedicated to pollen orbs. Aw, this is Ricky's house. Man, he has the nicest place in town. I know he has a few kids, but still, he's gotta keep an eye on his financials. Can't go buying places that are out of your budget. Oh my god, his wife wants a divorce if he doesn't get his things in order? So much drama for such little creatures. Wait, what? How did those Nopon get there? Are they stuck? I wonder if I can make that jump. I would probably not survive if I didn't make it. My brain is telling me no, but my heart is telling me to see if he has any unique dialogue. Here goes nothing. Phew. Alright, what's your deal, little buddy? Aw, the game congratulates you for making the jump. That's cute. Let's keep heading up. Oh man, there's a lot of Nopon homes not connected to any path. I didn't notice that before. I think that's the highest up Nopon on a platform. Gotta go up to the very top of the tree and jump down. You give him a good scare. Oh, I guess the Nopon do have wings. You don't really see them fly a lot, so I kinda forgot about that. This isn't even something I came into this video wanting to talk about. I just stumbled onto all these hard-to-reach Nopon. They really put some of them in awkward spots, and while not all of them have something super interesting to say, it's fun to meet the few that are surprised by you. At the top of the tree is Apex Lake. It's super chill up here. I imagine the Nopon like to come out here at night and gaze up at the stars. This is also where you're given access to the next major open zone, which is a place for another video. If you want to see me cover the second half of the game, like or leave a comment. There are some stunning spots right after Frontier Village I would love to talk about. JRPG worlds just hit different for this series, don't they? Check me out on Patreon, follow me on Twitter, blah blah blah. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.